Being a straight A student or trying to ace your exam can be really, really impossible to some students, or like they say, mission impossible. And actually, it's not really as difficult as it actually sounds. Now, I've seen a lot of students who just shy away from it or don't even want to get involved in it because it's really difficult for them and they feel like it's not really their thing. Now, I don't blame them because yes, sometimes it can be really, really frustrating and really tiring. But I'm just gonna give you some few tips which I've used to ace my exam and I think would actually work for you guys. So stay tuned with me to the end, guys. So I'm just going to give you guys some few tips that has actually worked for me and I think will actually work for most of you. The first thing I'm going to give you is don't study when you are stressed. Now, a lot of students have actually made this mistake and they are like, okay, let me just quickly chip in on our study or 2 hours of study then before I go on this errand rather, or before I go on this or before I continue this stuff. Now, I don't think that's actually a positive thing. I don't think it should actually be done because when you're actually stressed, your mind is not going to concentrate on whatever you're studying. Now, and when your mind is not focused on that thing, you feel like the problem is coming from you. Like, okay, studying is not just my thing. I've read this thing yesterday, but I believe today I can't actually remember all this stuff. Now, and you're like, okay, I'm not going to study again. It's not my thing, and they feel like yes, I shouldn't have even started in the first place. Now, I don't think the problem is actually coming from what you're studying, or maybe you are not cut out for studying. I think the problem is coming from you. Now, whenever you're studying, I think you should always find time when you're free, when you don't have a lot of stress or anything like that. Now, study when you are free. Focus on subjects you don't know. Now, this is actually one of the problems that a lot of students have. They don't always want to study, focus on subjects that they don't know. They always want to focus on something that they know that they are actually good at. Maybe reading a topic for about 5 times, 10 times, 20 times, and you're like, you want to ace your exam with just one topic. Now, it's not actually going to work. It's more advisable that you tailor your more of your reading to a subject which you don't actually know. Now, if you feel like you're good in this subject, then try to drop it. Give it before. Okay, even if you want to give yourself revision, you could extend your revision time. Give it a week or 2 weeks or some few days as much. Now, if you know that you're not good in one subject, I think all your study should be tailored to that particular subject. And if you feel like if you're good with a particular topic, then you can let it go and focus on whatever you're not good in. Now, if you focus on what you're not good at, you will know that you will actually realize that you are getting better and better at that subject, and this will actually increase your motivation to study. Thing that I've seen that a lot of students make that actually make them just, especially those who have actually been studying. Now you notice some of them just cut out and they're like they're not going for this again. They're not actually studying again. Is that whenever they study for an exam, they don't get up to expectation as they want. Maybe it's after studying for exam, they notice that they still score low. Now one of the problems that I actually see is that they don't study under concentration. Now we have what we call the area of concentration, whereby you study based on what you are having. It's just like you're having biology and you're studying chemistry. It doesn't actually make sense. And there is no two ways about it. You will actually fail because this is something that you primarily should know and you should actually tailor your subject on that. Now, whenever you want to study, you could ask a teacher for area of concentration, or you could actually write a area of concentration by yourself. Maybe on the topic, you could write 10 or 20 topic that okay, this is what I want to actually study on. Now, even if you have 15 topics, I believe if you're able to complete about 13 topics, it's okay, it's fine. And you could, once you know that once you study those 13 topics, trust me, whatever exam that you have, you will be able to ace this exam easy, and it won't actually give you a problem. Another thing that I actually do when I actually want to study, when I want to go for an exam, is you practice old exam questions. Now, I think this is really, really helpful because it open your mind to more concepts and open your mind to more questions that may be asked. Because sometimes, truth be told, some questions, some especially questions that have been going on for years and years and years, and you're following the same syllabus. There's a time you're going to run out of questions, and they are always going to go back to, and they're going to rely on those old questions. So you can take those old questions. It could actually be like an expo, like I said. It could be a cheat to your exam, but the main function of answering those old questions is for you to know what you're actually going to study. If you feel like okay, there is a particular topic that I don't always add it irrelevant. Maybe you've checked like 20 different year and it's not the question is not on any of this question on any of this year. You could disregard this topic. Now I'm not saying you should disregard it totally and not even study, but at least you could know that okay, this topic doesn't actually have much relevance, and you could tailor your reading to the one which you know that has more relevance. You could even use this to write out your area of concentration, which is where you want to study more, where you want to put your study in. Now, if you're able to answer those questions and you're able to answer like 90% of those questions without um, maybe without a failure or something or anything like that, then I think it would actually help you to ace any exam. So always try to answer old questions that you feel like okay, this is question that this topic is what I'm actually going for. So let me get in this past question and answer them. So this will actually help you to ace your exam. Another thing which I've talked about more and more and more, I think I've talked about it in a lot of my videos, cut out distraction. Now, when you are accommodating distraction, it makes it difficult for your brain to commit to whatever you are studying. Now, distraction could be your phone, it could be a friend, it could be whatever. Now, whenever you know that this is your distraction, then try to cut it out. Most of the distraction is actually your phone. You could put your phone, maybe give it to your family and tell them to hold on to it until when you are done studying, or you could just keep it somewhere. And when you're done studying, then you can give yourself a reward by taking 2 3 hours of your phone and doing whatever you want. But always try to cut out distraction. Whatever you feel like is distracting you, you could actually stop it. Now distraction can also be in the form of your resting habit. Now some students that I actually know, they love to lie down the bed while studying. Why some try like to sit on the chair while studying. Now I myself, I'm not actually good lying down in bed because I know that once I just lie down in bed, I'm gone and I will just sleep off. And so this is also a distraction. Now it might not look like a distraction to you, but it's actually a distraction that you need to also cut out. So try to cut out this distraction and trust me, you would actually ace your exam. Another thing I would actually want to chip in is form a study group. Now I know I've said this before, but it's really important for you to form a study group because should be told you will get tired when studying, you will get frustrated when studying, you will get exhausted when studying. But whenever you have friends who wants to encourage you, trust me, you would keep studying, and before you know it, 3 4 hours you have actually studied, and you don't even know it. It just seems like 30 minutes to you. When you have people where you are asking questions, you're answering questions, you're asking questions, and you guys are just trying to just relating yourself. Maybe you could bring a topic you don't actually understand to the study group. Maybe something you read while you were home and you don't actually understand it. You could bring it to your study group and say like, okay, let us tackle this question. What do you understand here? What do you understand here? And they can be their own explanation, and you can actually gain from this. So even though you don't actually understand that question 100%, when you form a study group, you will actually understand the question at least up to 90%. Then you could ask the teacher that okay, I don't really understand this question, and they can help you break this question down. So when you form a study group, it will actually help you study more because you have more people to motivate you, and you're not just on your own study. Because when you're on your own, you feel like ugh, you get tired easily. But when you're with people, you actually feel this motivation to study more because they are actually studying also, and you don't want to be the black sheep among them. So you also want to study more. Another tip that I think is really important is don't cut out easy stuff. Now, a lot of students, whenever they are studying, they feel like, okay, this question is easy. Why don't you just skip it and study something else? Or this topic is really easy. Why don't you just skip it and study something else? Now, I don't think you should actually be doing that. Now, if you want to actually ace your exam, every topic, regardless, is very important. Now, except maybe the topic isn't really in your area of concentration, like I said, you would actually give less study to that topic. Now, I don't mean you should abandon the topic totally, but you could give it less study, maybe 1 2 3 study, whereby you're giving the rest 5 study. Especially this topic you don't understand, you can give it 5 study. Why this one you can just give it 2 or 3 study. Now, don't always feel like this topic is very easy. I don't want to read it, and let's cut it out. Now, it doesn't work that way. You have to study everything, no matter how easy it is. Especially when it comes to question. Now, some question may look really easy, when you are actually seeing it, but it's really really difficult to answer. Now it has actually happened to me. I will see a question, I feel like, okay, this question is really really easy. I can just skip it, and when I'm just like, okay, let me just try this question, I'll turn out that it's turned out that the question is really really more advanced than I actually thought. So always try to answer a question no matter how easy it looks, or no matter how easy, even if it sounds very easy, you should also give it an attempt. Always try to answer this question, because this question might actually open your idea to new concepts. Some of them say might have a different formula that you don't actually know. So always try to answer those questions, and don't cut out easy stuff. Try to answer those questions. Guys, my last tip I'm going to give you guys, because I just want to make this very short, is keep up a positive attitude. Now I think this is really really one of the most important parts. Now, no matter how difficult the question is, no matter how hard it is, it like I said, it's really, really easy. No question is difficult, and no question is too hard. Like I said, okay, yeah, I think it's the same thing, but you get the point. No question is actually too difficult. If you study for an exam, it will be really, really easy. Now, even if you go into the exam, just keep telling yourself, "I can do this. I can ace this exam." Even though you don't even study that much, I think with the positive mindset, it will actually help you a lot. Even if yes, the question looks really difficult. Number one looks really difficult. Number two looks really difficult. Number three looks really difficult. Number four could be really easy, and it could help you, especially if you're answering some objective questions whereby the answer of number one could be also found in number two, and the answer number two can be found in number one, stuff like that. So always try to give yourself a positive attitude. Tell yourself you are good enough for this question, no matter how difficult it is, you can answer this question. And this is what I actually do, especially when I have exam tension, exam fear, or exam fever when I'm trying to answer a question. I just give myself, I'm good enough. And you don't always doubt yourself that, oh, I should have studied more, I should have done this. You did the best that you can. You actually tried. Even if you study one or two topic, you have a reason why you study one or two topic. In as much as that reason is valid. Now, I think you have a good reason why you study one or two topic. And you should always praise yourself that at least you did something, because maybe the person at your other side might not even have even opened the book at all, but you at least you did something. You made an impact in trying to read that topic. So always give yourself a positive attitude. Don't always feel like, oh, I should have done this better. I believe you did the best that you could, and I think the best is best enough for you. So, guys, these are my tip on how to ace your exam, and I think this is really important. I just want to make it short because I have someone that asked for this, for me to make this video. So, I just want to make it short for you guys, and thanks for watching. I'll see you in my next video.